Hello, I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. We do have an active weather pattern still on tap for today, tomorrow, Wednesday across the U.S. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you're looking at today's severe weather outlook. Monday, we have a 2 out of 5 chance. That's a slight risk area that includes Little Rock, pretty much northern and central Mississippi, and over into Alabama, including Birmingham and Montgomery later on tonight, it looks like. Memphis on the edge of that. Jackson on the edge, but those cities are still in the level 1. There is a minimal tornado risk with this. Take a look at that here, and that runs pretty much in the same area, but it does include Jackson, Montgomery, Birmingham, and Little Rock, and technically Memphis as well, and that is for today. Now, I do think that the tornado threat is probably going to be shifted a little more to the south today. Here's some backing up evidence of that. We have NATOcast for today showing a 5% probability right around Jackson, Mississippi, with a 2% surrounding all that in central parts of Mississippi. And if we look at output from the Storm Prediction Center, this is at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this evening, and it does show a 2% chance there on the southern end of that slight risk area and that tornado risk area. So, and that is in Jackson's right there. So I think that central Mississippi, maybe as far west as southeast Arkansas this evening, would be under a threat. I say that because if we look at the CSU output, it does put a little bit of a tornado bullseye there, south central, southeastern parts of Arkansas, with an attendant hail risk and wind risk. This is a short wave that's moving through, and it's just really tapping into some unstable air. So there might be some severe weather development, certainly with this, in a pretty limited way today. And there might be an isolated tornado or two by the time all is said and done. But if you really want to talk about the big event, that would be tomorrow, Tuesday. Here is what the NAM, one of the forecast models I use to show you things, 500 millibar Tuesday. This is later in the afternoon, 21Z, about 4 o'clock Central. And we have two systems, basically. We have this cutoff low that's now opening up and moving out into Texas and Oklahoma. Then we have this kind of general, kind of fast-moving flow here. And we're going to focus on this area. I'll show you why in a minute. It's not that West Texas may not see severe weather today, but certainly the SPC has put all their marbles right there, and rightly so, as we'll see. So this is the severe thunderstorm outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday. A level 3 exists from just north of Columbia, Missouri, up to around Hannibal, and I'll give you a zoomed-in look at this in a minute, all the way over into northwest Indiana. And then Chicago's included in a risk today, as is Indianapolis. It's a level 2. That would include Kansas City, my town here. Springfield, Missouri is included in that for tomorrow. Oklahoma City all the way down to central and a little bit of West Texas as well. And the tornado threat that goes with that is at 10% now, running from the Mississippi River right around Ottumwa and Hannibal and Quincy in that area, straight over to Peoria and Bloomington, Illinois, and including a little bit of Indiana. And then there is also a 2% tornado risk surrounding that, and another 2% tornado risk that shows up way out in southwest Texas. If we zoom in on this will kind of give you an idea. Springfield, Illinois is also included in this enhanced risk 3 out of 5 area. This also includes hail. I talk about tornadoes a lot, but it also does include up to 2-inch hail and some wind gusts with this as well for Tuesday for sure. In Chicago, the Chicagoland area certainly needs to be concerned about this. The tornado risk that goes with that, again, 10% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile radius of a point. So there's the towns I was mentioning, Quincy. We're looking at Peoria, Illinois, just north of Champaign on over into western parts of Indiana, northwest Indiana. Chicago kind of in the cheap seats on this, but the southern suburbs would be included in that certainly. If we take a look at Colorado State University's bullseye for tornadoes, it's it agrees a 10% chance, still a smaller area, but centered right in that area there from northeast Missouri into the central part of Illinois. Storm Chaser mode is activated for me. That's probably where I'll head tomorrow. And then on the hail end of things, again, I was saying 30% probability of significant hail there, 2-inch hail. So that runs along the same kind of area, only it extends its tail back into eastern Kansas and maybe a little bit broader in its scope. And then there's also a wind damage threat. Just basically the epicenter, almost the dot, really doesn't move. Let's take a look at some things, though, for tomorrow. And I'll probably do another video on my storm chase thoughts later on today, maybe even this evening, and maybe even tomorrow morning. Maybe two of them, I don't know, we'll see. But one thing I did want to show you is that the Cape values are getting higher and higher as we get into spring season now. So we're looking at Capes here that are exceeding 2,000 there in central Missouri, parts of Kansas, eastern Kansas. So that is fuel, basically. And I actually showed these out, or I'm going to show you this. This is a significant tornado parameter. This is really just a combination of various things. A significant tornado parameter looks at low-level shear, looks at instability, and comes up with kind of a cheat sheet, I guess you could say. And these are pretty significant values here. I have my subscribe covering up the chart. Sorry about that. But we're looking at, I believe these are threes here through Illinois, through parts of Missouri. So, that's pretty significant. And then the shear, the glue that holds a supercell together, is adequate. So anything above this purple line here north of this is more than adequate to support supercells. So all this area, it all makes sense. It's all coming together quite interestingly. And the mode, I think, will be a big factor. Also, the frontal boundary that gets stalled in here somewhere. If a storm latches onto that, it'll pick up enhanced low-level rotation especially, and could have some interesting tornadic developments out of that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the whole thing shifts east. Again, there's room for maybe some more detail in here once we get to tomorrow's look at Wednesday. But for now, it's just our level 2 out of 5 broad brush from south central Pennsylvania all the way down through the heart of Kentucky and Tennessee and ending up in Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi. And I'll take a look at the CSU outlook for that. It does put a little bit of a tornado epicenter there just off to the east of Columbus, Ohio, getting up to around Pittsburgh. Some wind damage in the northeast is a little more probable. Hail, they're kind of not real excited about on that particular analysis. And then the final things we'll look at here are the composite outlooks. Now, we are looking at, this is basically the next 7 days. And so basically it's kind of compiling what you see here. It's not really showing this very well. So it's not really indicating that supercell probabilities will be very high. But you might remember this is for an entire week. So it is meant to give guidance. So this is the 9th through the 15th. And then a little bit on the 16th and 22nd. I was talking about this last time I issued this video. This was diminishing and now it's back again a little bit, although not real impressive for spring, but there are some probabilities there. And then the last days of March, you can almost kind of tell that there's a high pressure system carving out here and making things just generally more stable and cooler in this part of the world. But south of that boundary, there might be some activity as well. I'll be updating this as needed. Again, remember that the SPC outlooks are updated the same day more often. So there'll be one of those in the late morning. And for day 2, tomorrow, that'll be updated just about an hour after that, around noon. With the time change, I'm not exactly sure when that is, but Central Time, I think it's 12:30, I believe. Anyway, so be watching for those, and if I see a significant change, I'll post them in the comments section of the YouTube, or I'll just post a social on YouTube just to let you know there's been a change.